Welcome to Sistah's Conversations podcast with your hostess, Letrise Carter. We feature interviews in literary, film, and television, as well as real topics that impact the Black community.
Welcome to Sistah's Conversations. This week, we will be talking about our hot streaming film and television. Selena and I are happy also to be talking about books that we recommend and books that we are reading now. So welcome back to Sistah's Conversation podcast with hostess Letrise Carter and my special co-host Selena Haskins. Hey, Selena.
Hey, Letrise. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, girl. It's the weekend is upon us, and I'm ready.
I've been ready since Sunday night for the next weekend.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh man, look, I was already ready for another weekend. What?
Yeah, weekend goes by too quick. It feels like
all the time. All the time.
Yes. So everybody that's listening, we want you guys to sit back with your favorite drink and get ready to be entertained. We are sharing our thoughts and our recommendations on what's hot on streaming, film, and television. What books we recommend and what we are currently reading, like I said before. So let's jump right into film and television.
All right. So the first film that we're going to talk about is the Aretha series. Oh, my.
Yes.
This was a wonderful film series. I really enjoyed it. This was created by Susan Laurie Parks, starring Cynthia Erivo as Aretha and Courtney B. Vance and C.L. Franklin. He portrayed C.L. Franklin, excuse me. But I enjoyed this series from beginning to end. I mean, it was just a phenomenal job. This is a series that chronicles the life of Aretha, how she lived as a preacher's daughter to becoming a queen of soul. And there was so much that I didn't know about Aretha's life, and it was brought out in this film. I know her family didn't approve, but some of the information that was shared in this series, I just didn't know about. Like, I didn't even know Aretha had brothers and sisters. Like, I thought she was an only child. I didn't know one of her sisters had recorded an album. Did you know that, Letrise? That one of the sisters had an album?
I didn't. This series taught me a lot. I mean, I was shocked. I even went back and looked up all the siblings. I sure did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a tidbit that we're giving away. And now her father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, was a worldly pastor. He partied on Saturdays and preached on Sundays. But despite the fact that he cheated on Aretha's mother and took the children from her, Aretha was still a girl dad, as they call them today. But back then, a daddy's little girl. I like that Aretha kept her life private and personal. I never knew she had children until she actually passed away. So to see them show her as a mom, as a wife in a film, it felt awkward to me because Aretha only showed us her musical side. She only showed us her career side. I think Cynthia Erivo, I hope I'm saying her name right.
Right.
Erivo did a great job with embodying the spirit and the essence of Aretha. The makeup, oh man, was great. And so was the costumes that transformed her character to Aretha. So props to those three creative powerhouses who were responsible for that. Your costume designer, Jennifer Bryan, her stylist, Corey Marino, makeup artist, Terrell Mullins, who emulated Aretha's hair for that era of the 60s and 70s. The outfits that ingrained Aretha's legacy. Oh man. I also love the cinematography of the flashbacks when they would transition from, when they show the past, they show the black and white, and then they transition the color to the present. That was done very smoothly. And it really made you feel like you were a part of that era when they do that. When you're watching it, you really feel a part of it. Now, the only thing I will say about the film, the one little hiccup, and I like to say hiccup,
okay,
is that when they're trying to capture Aretha's confidence, and I don't like to say arrogance either, I think Aretha was just a very confident woman, my opinion. At times, it didn't come across as eloquent. I felt like it was more like kind of stoic, and it made certain scenes slow down. Like the scene where she's in a studio trying to get her all white band to catch the groove. I felt that scene needed a pick me up. It needed a little bit more oomph. It wasn't enough moving parts as far as how things were said. I just think that it was just too quiet of a scene for a music scene. That's just an example. But other than that, I think Cynthia did a great job. She was following the script, and she's a great singer in real life.
Yes, she is.
Once again, we have another British star who is making things happen in Hollywood. So I say watch it.
Okay, absolutely. Now, I love this series too. I watched the whole series over 2 days.
Oh, and wow.
I was glued. I mean, because it drew me in. Some things that I learned about Aretha Franklin that I did not know. Like you said, I didn't know she had siblings. I didn't know her siblings sang. And I said sang, okay? Her siblings sang. I did not know also that she was raped. Well, I want to say raped. Is that the wrong word? Because her 2 kids,
I don't think so, because she was underage.
Yeah, because she was underage. I mean, 12. She was so young. She had 2 babies.
Yeah.
That kind of made me mad a little bit. I got mad. I'm a mother, so it's like my 12-year-old, and the woman who played her mom, she had a beautiful voice as well. So from what I gather from the film, Rita got her voice and talent. Her mom taught her to play the piano.
Yeah, I didn't know that too. And the lady you talking about who played her mother, I can't think of her name, but she also played.
She played Faith in Yep. Look, there's a nice resemblance there, right? Yeah. So, and then also one of the things that I also paid close attention, that she got to know Martin Luther King. They had a nice friendship bond there. Dr. King.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that was just, she was a part of the civil rights. She went out and toured and helped them, she helped fund, she funded it too. She donated some money, covered costs for, Dr. King's, his movement in the his part in the civil rights when they were out on tour.
Right.
And also, it seems like you see this with a lot of celebrities who come out of towns, like, they came from the South to Michigan. She was taking care of everybody. She was taking care of the whole family. She was paying everybody bills.
I know, right?
She was paying everybody bills, but at Cynthia Erivo, props off to her. She has done, again, outstanding performance. I loved her in Harriet, and I loved her in this version of Aretha. The Aretha story, genius. Very good performance. It's a series worth watching for everyone. And then just everyone knows Aretha Franklin, our Queen of Soul. She died in 2018. And there is another version of her life. The movie is titled Respect, starring Jennifer Hudson. That's still coming, and I can't wait to see that either.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be super exciting, and we're definitely going to talk about that when that comes out. I know that had originally it was supposed to come out in 2021. I know because of COVID, a lot of movies, the dates have changed. They've been pushed off. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm actually going to compare. I wonder, it makes you curious now as to what's going to be told in the movie Respect. One of the things that I didn't like in the Genius movie was, it's not as wasn't the writing. I love the writing. I love everything that you had mentioned earlier. Her husband, he was a complete jerk. He was a manipulator. He was a user. He was too old for her.
Right. Exactly. I was like, how old is he? Yeah.
Right. He knew her when she was 12. First of all, why did her daddy allow her to marry? Why did her daddy allow this old man to marry his baby? I'm sorry.
Right.
No,
I didn't understand that.
I didn't understand that either. And that actually made me mad. I was so happy she got out of that. And then she married an actor. And again, you would have never known this if it wasn't brought into this movie, to this series. I never knew.
No.
You never knew who she was married to. You never heard anything about her kids. And like you said, everything was kept in private. I think that all happened because of what happened between her husband Malcolm on the cover of Time magazine. When she was on the cover, when she was in Time magazine, that feature where her husband shared stuff with him, and she was not happy about that. So I guess after that, Aretha took her private life from the world, pretty much.
Right.
Which is a good thing, I actually think celebrities should there are celebrities that do keep their life private. You would never know their kids, their spouses even. And there's a special reason for that. And, you want to be able to go home and then just be that father. You're not that actor or celebrity or whatever that is at your fans see. There should be a separate. That's like our jobs. We go to work, do our job, we come home. We're not fund manager Letrise Carter when we come home. I am Letrise Carter,
Right.
You separate the two. And I have a lot of respect for how she kept her private life private. And it is I highly recommend folks go see that. It was a very good series. Very good series.
Very good.
Yeah, it was. Now, the next movie, I'm trying to see. Did you watch Them, Selena? You didn't watch Them, did you?
No, was that the one by Lena White?
Yeah, Lena White. Yeah, I watched. I could talk about that for a second. So okay. I watched on Amazon Prime. It's called Them. It's from Lena White and Little Marvin. There's 10 episodes, and this series actually reminds me of the nonfiction book that I read. It's called The Color of Law, and it goes back to the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s. It goes back to that era of how Black people weren't allowed to purchase homes. And this couple bought a house in East Compton, which was all white back then. They were the first Black family in this area, the suburb, and the community didn't want them there, and the things that they did to try to make them leave was just horrifying.
Oh no.
The things that, it makes you mad, but it's also a reality check for you as well. If you haven't read the book Color of Law, I highly recommend it, because it literally took scenes from that story, so nonfiction story, and incorporated that in this series. Now, I didn't like the way the ending, the series ended. I didn't like how some of the spoiler alert, how they would go scene to scene, because, like, for example, there was one scene where there is one of the flashbacks that they did. They had a baby boy, and the baby died. The baby died because of a white woman. She wanted to hold the baby, and she wouldn't let the woman hold her baby. And the lady came back to her house. They lived out on a farm out in the country. The lady came back and took her baby, and she was responsible for her baby's death. And that was very good. That made me angry. And I was like, wow. And when they moved from the South, South Carolina, when they left South Carolina going to California, she packed up her baby. She dug up her baby's remains and put it in the suitcase, took it with her.
Ooh.
Yeah. So she was dealing with, she was still grieving and dealing with the loss of her baby and how her baby died. There was this particular scene where the father discovers his dead baby in this suitcase. And it like goes right to the next scene, and all of a sudden the mother's in the psych hospital, and we're like, and how the hell that happened? Where was the transition? Like, there was no transition. So that was my problem with the series. There was a few episodes where the transition to the next series, next series, it wasn't a smooth one. You kind of sitting there going, well, how did she get to it was outside the family house when the father discovered, the baby was in the suitcase. Now we in the whole next episode, and she in the psych ward. What happened?
Right. Like, what happened in between there?
Yeah. What happened? There's a gap. There were a couple episodes where there was a gap, and you literally was sitting there like, why? And everyone was seeing things. The house was haunted. There was a spirit in the house. Everybody was seeing dead people. Okay.
Oh my.
Yeah. And the woman that was torturing, the spoiler alert. So y'all can't say, oh my God, they don't talk about. Yeah, spoiler alert. The white lady who was like leading the crowd, leading the neighbors to be against them and try to, scare them out the neighborhood. She had a stalker. He ended up killing her. And I was sitting there going, good, karma. You tried your best and did your best to chase this family out the neighborhood. He was an engineer. He was he was Black. He was an engineer. He made good money. And he was, he got that house, but the lending industry was so shady because they actually had a law, and it was written: no Black people, no one of Negro blood is allowed to purchase a home.
Wow.
And girl, it's like, wow, they really saw us as not human or
right.
Not what, I don't know what word to use, but it make you mad. So I stopped, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna finish it. And I did finish it. I watched it. It took me a week to watch it, but it was worth it. I just had a few hiccups where a couple episodes don't connect, don't they don't like time into each other. Like it's like you're missing a scene or transition between scenes.
Right.
But it was good though. It was good.
Okay.
It was good.
That sounds like something different from Lena.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Based on what she's always done. I know she's real. I know she tries to also shed light on things that happen to the, in the Black community as well. But, this Black family refused to leave that neighborhood. They refused to leave this neighborhood as much as they drove them crazy. And then there was another Black family, first Black family in West Compton. Now, West Compton was all white. And today in California, Compton is, Black, all Black. Right. In West Compton, there was another Black family, had twin boys. These people drove that Black woman crazy. And the lady who played that role was Anika. I can't think of her last name right now. She ended up killing her boys, but they drove her crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, she killed her boys. Yeah. That's why I said, it was definitely something different for Lena. So, check it out. Let us know what you think about it. I am a big King Kong fan. I watched Godzilla versus King Kong on HBO Max. I love all of King Kong's movies. I've watched about them all. It was something growing up as a kid. It was like the family movie. My father and my mom, it was like family night. We would sit and watch King Kong, the original King Kong, and just to see how it's kind of evolved over the years. And this one with Godzilla versus Kong, I was cheering for King Kong, of course.
Oh, you was a serious fan.
Yes. Cheered him on, honey. Cheered him on. And I was, super excited about it. And I recommend it for those who are, love these type of movies like myself. And check it out. It's on HBO Max to the end of the month. So yeah. So Selena, why don't you talk about what you have seen?
Wow, I'm still up here thinking about the movies you saw on the shows. But I watched Big Sky. I'm not sure how familiar folks are with Big Sky, but Big Sky is a series about two detectives who are both women who are trying to solve a mystery about a kidnapping in Montana. It's based on a novel series called The Highway series by C.J. Box. And this series shows how sex trafficking can happen. So the first part of the series, there are two girls who are kidnapped during a road trip. And then there's a transgender prostitute who is also kidnapped. And eventually they are all rescued by the detectives Jenny and Cassie. However, the crime itself still needs to be solved. And so the last episode that I saw, Casey comes unknowingly face to face with Ronald, who was one of the kidnappers, doing her search. And it's very informative, and I think it will teach you how to protect yourself and your children. Mm-hmm. It's also, it's a TV drama, so some things are unrealistic. You know how it is when people get held captive; they seem to lose all their common sense. But it is engaging and suspenseful enough to keep you wanting to watch it. So if you haven't caught up on it, check it out. You can probably catch it on demand. It's called Big Sky, spelled just like the two words, literally. And I think you might find it entertaining. Okay. So the other series that I like is Snowfall. Letrise, I don't know if you watched Snowfall or not. But
no, I haven't. I'm gonna look for it.
Start at the beginning. Maybe check it out on Hulu. Start from the beginning, or Google Play Store may have it for you. We can watch it from beginning to the first start of the series. Snowfall was John Singleton's baby before he passed.
Okay, I remember. Now I remember by the name. Yes, when you say John Singleton. Okay.
Yeah. Now there's some speculation that he got this story from Rick Ross, who was a real drug kingpin in Los Angeles. And to be honest, I watched Rick Ross's documentary as well as his interviews on YouTube before I had even heard of Snowfall.
Mm-hmm.
And they closely mimic each other.
Oh, wow.
And it's my understanding that John Singleton did have several conversations with Rick Ross, but Rick Ross never got compensated. Anyway, not my business. I don't care. But I just had to put that out there. The series is good. It's very good. It's set in 1983 Los Angeles. Speaking of California, Letrise.
Okay.
But this is a later time period here. More recent time period, 1983. It talks about how the government allowed drugs to come into the United States, and it actually shows how the cocaine distribution happened and how crack was first developed. It started in Los Angeles. Damon Idris, who is also another British actor, he plays Franklin Saint, who is the main character in the drug kingpin. And then Michael Hyatt plays Sissy Saint, his mother, who also ironically plays the sister in the TV series The Wire to another drug kingpin. She was the sister in that one. The acting is phenomenal. Whoever did the casting for this series, everyone plays their part. And you get to see what happens behind the scenes. I mean, they go back to talking about the CIA and the whole CONTELPRO, all of that. Like, it's deep. So it's going to show you both sides, what's happening on the streets and then what's happening behind the scenes from a government standpoint. Because when it comes to this, illegal drugs in the United States, the average Joe, living in poverty cannot move that kind of weight.
Right.
We already know that.
Absolutely.
We don't own helicopters. We don't own airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. So
you sure don't.
How does it get over here? So from that standpoint, it's informative for people who aren't educated, who just think that, okay, these are just a bunch of thugs out here, selling drugs. Guess what? They work for your boss's boss. Okay. You just don't know it. Don't be fooled by the ones that's dressed in fine suits. So, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I know what you mean, girl.
So, it's educational and it's entertaining as well. Mm-hmm. And it's set in a time period of 1983. I love the 80s. You get to see the whole nostalgia with the music and how people used to dress and the slang they used to use. So, and it's suspenseful. So if you haven't seen Snowfall, I say check it out and see if you like it.
Okay. Awesome. So now this segment of our show, this is an extra perk, because Selena and I both are, we're published authors, but we're also avid readers. And I have a Sisters Place has a book club on Facebook, Sisters Place Book Club, and we do a lot of reading, and we're going to be recommending books and giving our thoughts on books that we've read, recommendations for you guys. So, Selena, why don't you tell us about the 3 books that you have read? Just give us a little bit, share your thoughts about it, and whether or not you will recommend it, yes or no. And what are you reading now?
Sure. 3 books that I read. The first book I read was Iyanla Vanessant's Get Over It. This is a book that it's about self-healing and how you can address the hard stuff with yourself, and the steps that she takes you through is almost like a self-guided therapy session. Mm-hmm. And if you listen to audiobooks, I would highly recommend that version if you can, because it's literally will make you feel like you're in a therapy session with Iyanla. I thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end, because that's what it felt like for me. It was very therapeutic, very helpful. If you are a person who is dealing with depression, anxiety, or if you're stressed out, anything, our mental health is just as important as our physical health. And I would highly recommend that book by Iyanla. And I like the fact that it's just you in the book. So you don't have to worry about, nobody else judging you or anything like that. You can go through this self-guided book. Speaking of judging, I read another book called I'm Judging You by Lucie, Ajai. I think I'm saying that right. And this book is hilarious. Again, I recommend the audio version because you hear the author's voice herself. Okay. She is talking about all the things that people are nitpicky about in today's society. And she kind of makes fun of it. She's a comedian. So while there are real life truths in the book, she's so funny about it because they're common sense things that aren't so common to some people. So that's what makes it so funny. The difference between push and pull, that kind of thing. But but it's funny. And then I read Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I had seen Trevor Noah for years, and pretty much it was come and go for me. But I kept seeing his book pop up, and I said, you know what? Let me just give this book a chance and just read it. And I'm glad I did. And even though this book had been out for a minute, I enjoyed it because it was educational. I learned so much about the different parts of Africa where he's from and how their cultures are. I learned about him. He has a Black mom and a white father. And I said, how did that happen? And he's in Africa. Read the book. I'm not going to give it away. But he is funny. Trevor is funny. He talks about the political side. He talks about family tradition in Africa. It's not boring, and it doesn't read like a textbook. Okay, it's like you're having a conversation with him. Okay. So I would recommend that. And the book that I'm reading now, I'm just going to tap my phone. I'm a book reader these days, a listener, I should say. I am listening to The Vanishing Half by Brit, Bennet. And this is a book that was actually a part of Barack Obama's book list and was listed as one of his favorites. And it is about, and now that I put up the title, I'll tell you the synopsis real quick because I'm not finished yet. And I don't want to tell you what I was reading. And look, okay, right up. That's because it's Obama's favorite. So it's called The Vanishing Half, Brit Bennet. And oh boy, hold on. Bear with me, guys. Okay. It is about twins who get separated. One twin is black and the other twin is white. And that's the gist of it. But you have to check it out yourself because it's going to talk about Black identity, parenthood. It's going to talk about all those things. So I recommend it since Obama did. So far, I am engaged in it. So I just recommend that folks check that out. And I'll be back with my review on it. Like Letrise said, we'll be talking about this. So, absolutely. And that's all I got.
Okay. And you know what? I'm just going to jump right in because our book club read Vanishing Half by Brit, Bennet. And I've read this, so I won't give it away, but this book does address a lot it does address the identity thing. And they're both twin. They're identical twins. They are identical twins. And one decides to pass for white, and the other
that's
one,
what it was.
yeah, the other one, yeah, they're black. They're African American, but they light skinned. They light. It's so light. It's so light that one sister passes for a white woman, and she's actually married to she marries a white man, versus the other sister, she goes out and marries the darkest thing she could find. And I won't give no more away because because we're going to be discussing this on Saturday. I was originally going to have a discussion tomorrow, but I moved the discussion to Saturday because I have an appointment, and I didn't want to be late to the book discussion. So I moved it to Saturday. We're going to be discussing it in our book club group Saturday at 5 p.m. in our book club group. So it is a very, very good group. Good book. I actually reached out to the author to invite her to our book club group. She's not doing any book club, but she sent me a list of questions that I could ask the book club group. So I'm super excited about that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. And I'll be sharing that on Saturday. This Saturday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be on there for about an hour and a half in the room chat. It's a private Facebook group. So if you haven't joined our book club, come on in and join. And, if you've read this book now, it's good. So I won't, do no little spoilers because I want Selena to be able to finish it.
I am. That's the plan.
Yes. And then, one of the other books that I read was Loving My Daddy to Death by Barbara Jo Williams. Our book club also discussed this last week. This book was so good that the title makes you think that she actually killed her daddy. I won't give it away, but I highly, highly recommend that you read this book because there's a twist. And, like all little girls that are daddy's little girl, when daddy hurt mommy, we gonna go in for our mama. But it has a couple twists in it. It's so good. It kept me engaged. It kept me, talking back to the book. And it's a short story. It's a short story. So, highly recommend, you get this book, pick it up. It's on audio too. I actually like paper. I actually like the paperback. I like to hold a book in my hand. I actually have the hard copy of Vanishing Half by Brit, Bennet. I have that too. And whenever we open back up and she starts traveling again, and I hope she comes to Chicago, I'm gonna get her to sign my copy.
All right.
Now those are two. Those are two fiction books. Now a nonfiction book that I was reading, that I read, is called The Death of the Angry Black Woman by Jameiliah Young Mitchell. This is like a personal story, her own personal testimony, her story, and then she gives. She started helping women deal with their anger, so that we can remove that stigma, that stereotype that Black women are always angry. and we're not. And I love some points that she makes in this book. Highly recommend sisters get this book and read it. It's a quick read. It's not very long. It's a short. It's it's a nice little book that she gets right to the point, and she shares her testimony, her own story, and from her own life experience, because she grew up in a house. Her father was a pastor, and he cheated. He had a mistress his entire marriage, and he would come home and beat her mom, just literally beat her mother, and she would go in hard for her mother, and she took all that anger into her adult life, and she was always angry, and she went and got help, and they got back down to the root of her anger, that she was so angry for what transpired growing up. So all her anger rooted from when she was little, taking on her mother and father's problems, to the point where her father's mistress, he had a baby with his mistress, and showed up at her parents, and her mother helped raise this boy, no questions. And she was very angry. She went through a whole era of just being angry, and she had a quick temper. Every little thing set her off, and she showed how to deal with that. And her first marriage failed because of her anger. She was always angry. That she learned how to let go and deal with her anger issues, and accept that those were her parents' problems, that they were not her problems. That she had to let that go. Her mother did, and she found love. Her second marriage, she's happily married for a second time around. She noticed all the mistakes that she made, and she now has a women's group that she helped women who are who are angry or dealing with their issues, and helping them to grow from it, so they can let go of the past and move forward, and eliminate that stigma that's on Black women, that Black women are always angry, that mad Black woman syndrome, and we're not, and I really enjoyed her book.
I'm gonna check it out myself.
Yeah, it's Jameiliah Young Mitchell, The Death of an Angry Black Woman. And she has a lot of reviews on Amazon. That was one of the reasons, like, it popped up, her book popped up in my feed on Amazon. On Amazon, if you're reading so many different selections, certain authors, gets recommended for you. So it pops up, and I saw it, and I was like, let me read, let me see what this is about. And I was like, and then I read some of the reviews, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it. And that's how I ended up getting her book. So,
yeah, I'm adding it to my list now.
Okay. Now, what am I reading now? Now, I am so unique. I have people, I have some of my friends, they laugh at me that I can actually read two books simultaneously. One book I'm reading is fiction, and the other book is nonfiction, and it's feeding my spirit. So I'm reading, and it's also Sistah's Place book club selection for April. It's called The Darkest Child by Dolores Phillips. It's a fiction book. I won't, I can't give you too much about it because I'm simultaneously reading. I'm just getting started. So, but that's what I'm reading now. Then the other book that I'm reading, and I'm almost done with it, I actually just got it. It came on Monday. It arrived on April 7th. I picked it up and started reading it on Monday. It's called Woman Evolved by Sarah Jakes Roberts. I absolutely love her. Her book, this story is she's telling the story. She's focused on Eve in the Garden of Eden, and she's telling the story of how, of course, we all know Eve is the reason we have cramps, horrible labor pains, and mood swings, all type of other stuff. So she focuses on her from another aspect, kind of show her triumphs, to show who this woman is, and and she shows that we all have an Eve inside of us that we need to deal with. And, once we deal with that Eve that's in all of us, that we can like blossom, we can evolve. And so far I'm halfway through it and I'm taking notes. Oh my God. I think if I had it next to me, I would read a little clip. It's so good. So I'm already recommending it. I'm halfway through it. So, but that book is very good. I've read her other books. It's not a lot of pastor books that I read that grab me. I've read some other pastors I won't name. I've tried to read their books and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't get through this. What the hell is you talking about? Oh my goodness. Yeah. I have a few lists of pastors that I said, I don't care how many more books you publish, I will never buy another book from you.
Oh my.
Because the story is so over the top.
Right.
Or I can't grab it, or and I just said, you know what? This book wasn't meant for me. So put it down.
Right.
But when I have authors like her, that grab me, it's feeding my spirit, it's making me think. And she posed a lot of questions throughout her story, make you think, and she says, take notes, evaluate yourself, reflect. I love stuff like this. I love stories, where she's helping you to ask yourself those hard questions, and it helps you to grow. It helps you to evaluate. And I'm one of those people. I'm one of those persons where I am constantly evolving. I am constantly. All I want to do is grow. If I'm not growing, I do not like being stagnant, and I don't want to get in a funk because I know my purpose is bigger than what I think it is. I have my dreams. My dreams are so big that at times I'm scared to death. And so I know I must be on the right track, on the right path, because my dreams are starting to scare me because I want so much and I want to do so much. And I have so many ideas that I wake up out of my sleep writing stuff down. And that's how Woman Evolve, she addresses that. She talks about that, how God talks to us in our dreams. And a lot of times, some of us, we just roll over and go back to sleep. But for me, he tussles with me to the point where I can't go back to sleep, where I have to roll over. Both of my nightstands is a notebook, and I have to write the stuff down. I have to get it out of my head and get it on paper because obviously this is what he wants me to talk about. So I like books like this. So I'll talk more about it next month. I'll give you guys my recommendations. But yes, and my book blog, I'm gonna be blogging about it too. My book review.
Her book is like number 15 now on the Amazon charts too.
Yes, it just came out April 6th, and I pre-ordered it. Yeah, and I pre-ordered it. I absolutely love her. Those are the books. Those are the books that we recommend that you guys read. My closing remarks. I'm looking forward to. There's another movie with my daughters. She said, Mommy, she told me if she could marry him, she would. Michael B. Jordan. He has a movie coming out April 30th on HBO Max called Without Remorse. It's not HBO Max, guys. I'm sorry. It's Amazon Prime. April 30th, Without Remorse, with Michael B. Jordan. He is such a talented young man. I'm so proud of him. Make sure y'all check it out, because Selena, that's a movie we definitely got to watch together. I don't know if that's one you want to watch, but definitely want to talk about that next month.
Okay, I'm with it.
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Absolutely. And then I want you guys to check me out on my author page, Letrise Carter. I have a new series that it will be releasing. It's a Lucie Mason series that I am releasing a book every month starting May 6th. Lucie's Worth will be released May 6th. Lucie's Faith will be released June 7th. June 8th. And then Lucie's Heart will be released July 7th. So that entire series will be released back to back. And I'm ready to launch and start promoting that. And then Deceitful Secrets Book 2, Truth and Lies, will be released sometime in September, October. We don't have a timeline date yet. For all those that have been hitting me up, where's book 2? Where's book 2? It's finally coming. It's finally coming. So join our Facebook group if you are a book lover. It is Sistah's Place Book Club. It is a private group on Facebook. And make sure you're following us, Sistah's Place, on all social media for all movie and television reviews and our online platform. And our magazine publishes in January, July, and December. So our next issue is July 1st. It publishes July 1st. Make sure you guys follow us on social media so you can stay up and grab your copy of print or digital. Selena.
All right. Well, I just want to say, Letrise, I'm very proud of you and your literary endeavors, as well as everything you're doing with Sistah's Place and with Sistah's Conversations and with Sistah's Book Club. Sister, girl, you are just, you're going through your checklist and you're achieving your goals. So, I highly commend you. I really do.
Thank you.
I want to encourage you to keep pushing ahead. You are very resilient, and I really admire that. So I just had to say that part first.
Thank you.
All the listeners out there, be sure to follow up with us next time. We are movie watchers, TV watchers, and book readers. So we enjoy different forms of entertainment, as well as learning in the process. Sometimes, when it comes to entertainment, people think it's just all about fun and laughs, but there are a lot of truths in art. And that's why they say art is life, because entertainment teaches us. Mm-hmm. And, our work, our books, they're entertaining, but they also teach us. Mm-hmm. When you get the opportunity, in addition to following Letrise Carter and her work and following Sistah's Conversation, you can follow me on Facebook as well. I'm author Selena Haskins, and my website is booksbyselena.com. I'm also on Twitter and IG at Books by Selena. That's it, at Books by Selena. And it's spelled Selena. And I look forward to connecting with you all and hearing your feedback. And take care of yourselves. Be well. Be safe out there. Please continue to wear a mask and keep in mind that even if you get vaccinated, you still have to protect yourself, because the vaccine is not a cure. It's just a means to try to help you in case you do catch COVID. It won't be as detrimental to you. So please, guys, be safe. Please, it's about to be, it's getting hot out here and people are letting their guards down already. I'm tired of the pandemic. I know you guys are. So please practice being safe so we can get this virus out of the United States.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amen on that. Amen on that. That's what I'm talking about. Make sure you guys follow Sistah's Conversation podcast, download it. We're available on multiple platforms. Make sure you pay close attention to the our ending show clip as well. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and be blessed. We love you. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks to our special guests for joining the show today. Be sure to follow us on your favorite streaming channel so you don't miss a show. We can be heard on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and YouTube at Sistah's Place. Visit our website, www.sistahsplace.com, to learn more about us.